This is a terrible time for Jesus and the disciples. A terrible night when Jesus is arrested. Jesus is arrested and taken to the courtyard of the high priest's house in Jerusalem, and Peter is outside the gate. "You were with him," says a voice. "No, I wasn't," says Peter. It's cold. It's evening, and he moves closer to the fire to warm himself. Whatever we might think of Peter, at least he was there. I wonder, would I have been there? Twice more he's recognised. Twice more he denies knowing Jesus. I wonder, would I have owned up to knowing Jesus? Then the cock crows and Peter remembers. I wonder what was going on in his head as Jesus looked at him. He heard the cock crow, the cockerel that heralds the new day. Perhaps in some strange way, it was a new day. Not just because the sun would rise, but because nothing would ever be the same again. Not for Peter, not for anyone. But this is part of a bigger story. I wonder how often the memory of that cockcrow had repeated itself in Peter's head. I've spent a lot of time in Jerusalem and the Middle East, and the day is often heralded by the crowing of a cockerel. And then there was that charcoal fire, the sound, the sight of the fire as he gazed into the flames to avoid looking at his accuser, the smell of the fire. Now cast your minds forward a few days and north a few dozen miles to the shores of Lake Galilee. As dawn breaks over the lake, Peter recognises Jesus on the beach and swims to the shore only to find a charcoal fire burning. The sight, the smell, and the cockcrow that echoes in his head as Jesus asks him 3 times, "Simon Peter, do you love me?" "Of course I love you, Jesus," says Peter. 3 times. And Jesus gives him the greatest task he has ever given to anyone. And Peter is forgiven completely. We can't earn forgiveness. It's given freely, but it carries with it a responsibility of care. As I read that story, I can imagine myself in the courtyard. I can imagine myself on that beach. It is, after all, one of my favourite places in the world. And when I'm there, I can almost smell the charcoal fire and the cooking fish and hear Jesus asking me, "Do you love me?" Forgiveness for Peter. Forgiveness for me and you. Forgiveness from Jesus, even for those who were hammering the nails through his hands.